Hey everybody, Eric here. Today I'm going to show you how to fix the dreaded MK3 Supra window shake. If this drives you bananas as much as it does me, please watch the video. Most of this is going to be pretty simple, inexpensive, but very effective methods to fix this problem. One of my solutions is going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to be involved making something that looks like this. And while that may look kind of crude, this very little piece of bent up sheet metal here makes a gigantic difference in our windows. So I'll show you how this functions, what a difference it makes, and then at the very end I'll show those of you who are wanting to try to make one how to make it, because it's pretty involved. But first, let's just check out our windows, how they're working. As you can see, when it's all the way down, pretty violent shake. If I need the window farther up, well, it's even worse. A little bit more, then there's a horrible noise starts coming out of it, like it's banging against something. A little farther up and even more banging. Finally I start getting up into the mirror support, and it starts to get a little bit better for a minute, but it's still shaking a lot. Once I get up to about right here, where you just have your window part way down, going down the highway, and here we go again. Oh my Lord, this is terrible. Let me get set up, guys. I'm gonna show you the driver's window. I fixed all these problems and show you the difference. So, okay, so here's the driver's window in the same down position. I can't even barely move the window. I'll go up. And I really have to push it a lot to get this window to move. Go up where I'm starting to get into the vent window. And almost nothing, guys. I mean nothing. Almost near the top, where it barely cracked open. Look at this. Hardly anything. No crazy sound, no banging, barely moving the window. Okay? And all the way up, of course, there's no sound at all. Let's show you how to get your window operating like this one. I want to show you, it's really hard for me to show you what difference this piece is going to make, but the best way to show you is this is how much the window moves without this piece installed. Okay, let me see if I can get it in real quick. I didn't make these pieces to come on and off. They were, in fact, I made them so they purposely wouldn't come on and off. So that's why it's a little bit struggle here. It's not what I intended for them to be. I intended for it to be in there and stand there and not come on. So let me put this back up, and now it's hard to show you the difference, but you can feel how much less movement is in the whole side-to-side movement of the window from that shim. And what I'm doing, okay, is placing it right there, okay? I'm using that to take up the slack in the scissor mechanism, okay? It's really not even all the way on there. There it goes. And this is, like I said, is meant to not come off. So I'm going to show you the end how to make this piece. But first thing, and the biggest problem with all this is going to be the actual guides themselves, okay? These two guides, there's one in the back, okay? These felt guides, and there's one in the front. And it may not appear that these are adjustable, but they are, okay? And you can solve a lot of the problem just by simply adjusting this. See how they sit down on top of this edge of your door panel. So if you have this installed and you leave it sitting all the way down against the bottom and tighten it up, it's not what you want. Loosen this up, and you can actually watch this, push this forward and up. Watch the glass move. Okay, you can see I'm pushing on the weather stripping with this. Okay. This is as far as you can go upwards, and then tighten the bolt. Okay, do the same thing on the front one. See, it doesn't seem like a lot, but watch the difference just moving these two felt pads makes in the window. Look at that. Huge difference in your window, especially while it's down. This is really the only thing's holding this. Now, there's one more. If you watch your window when you roll it up and down, you'll see that this front pad rarely makes contact with the window. Huge portions of the travel of the window is never touching this pad. So I want to show you a slight modification to this pad. Okay, these are not fun getting in and out. You definitely have the window rolled all the way down. Completely remove the nut, the bolt, excuse me. And you're gonna twist this, get it off of that edge and twist this out. Okay, this is how they come out. And you're quite likely gonna find all of your felts are very flattened out, just from time and age rubbing against it. And you might likely find that some of your tape is coming loose that holds that felt on. The tape runs all the way around. There's supposed to be another piece of felt inside of here that's completely fallen off. You can see where the old glue was. But this is the problem, and the modification I made was this piece of felt. You look underneath it, there's a piece of black foam underneath it. It's very thin, and it's also very compressible. Okay, so if you have some of your tape coming off, go ahead and peel that tape loose and peel your felt all the way loose from that piece of rubber or foam, whatever it is. I took that whole piece of foam off and cut a piece of rubber. Okay, it's a little bit thicker and a lot less compressible. Okay, and what I used is a piece of hose. I cut a piece of rectangle out of this hose. This is 1/2 inch, 5/8 inch heater hose, whatever you got, piece of rubber. All I needed was a rectangle. Okay, a piece of rectangle to cover these pieces of metal, and I took and used contact cement. I use this kind, whatever you have, some kind of a contact adhesive. Follow the directions on the bottle. Glue your piece of rubber down to the metal, and I just put like some pliers, some needle locking pliers over this overnight, let it cure, and then I glued my felt back down over the top of it. It gave me just a little bit more thickness to this. It really helped out my driver's side, so I'm going to probably do the same thing on this side. Okay. Most importantly is to make sure, show you how to put these in and out again. Not fun. Make sure when you tighten it up, you have this pushed all the way up and forward. Okay, that's what you need to do mostly. One of the noises that's coming that we hear that rattle, when it banging noises, put this back on real quick, is going to be coming from what's behind this bolt right here, which is a roller. If you look down inside there, you see that roller. That roller does practically nothing. The only time that roller, it basically doesn't ever touch the glass unless you shake it hard enough to hit it. Okay, that's one of those sounds that you hear, the glass hitting that roller. So if we keep our glass secure, it's probably not going to hit the roller. If it does, you can lower the adjustment down so it's even farther away. All this roller does is make sure that when your glass coming up does not get hung on this stop. That's all it does. Okay. Now, the last problem we get with the window being up into this assembly here, your mirror assembly. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to show you on the inside edge. I cut some strips of felt and ran them starting quite a ways down all the way up this inside edge, all the way about right here. And that eliminated this, because there's no cushion in any of this. It's two hard pieces of plastic, and your hard glass is bang, 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 bang. Okay? So I'm going to take this off, and I'll show you how to get this off first. You have 3 screws that hold your mirror onto it. So you have to disconnect your wire for your mirror. Take your mirror off. This bolt right here, this nut, you want to loosen this nut. Take this bolt and thread it in as far as you can. Okay, that's just going to help you later. Once you got the mirror out of the way, there's going to be 2 bolts right here that hold that whole triangular piece on. Just take it out of the car. It's going to be a lot easier to reach in here and put that felt padding inside of here that I'm going to use. So take that off and I'll show you the padding that I did inside. Alright, so all I've done to this thing right here is I've taken, this is like a sorted piece of felt pad that I bought at Walmart for like $5 or $6. And one of the bigger pads, I just cut strips about a 1/2 inch wide. You can see I placed that felt strip starting way down here and all the way up to about right there, and I stopped. I didn't want to get too tight at the top, and it's a little bit fun reaching there and sticking that felt in place, but it's not too bad. Okay, so now when you get this back, these 2 bolts back in the car, I want to show you real quick how to make sure you got this part adjusted right. Okay, well, after you have the outer 2 bolts tightened up, make sure this is loose, but you can turn it by hand, but make sure it's not pressing against your body panel, and close your door. Okay, once you have it closed, you can reach in here and thread this out to where it just starts to contact your body panel. And the reason we're doing this, we don't want to put too much pressure on this right here. There's no need to. Once we have that out, we can just put our nut back on and lock it down. At this point, now we can check out our window with our 2 guides adjusted forward. Haven't done any modification of this one yet, like I told you, but just with them moved forward, little felt inside that, and my shim in my guide. Let's check out our window. Well, that's drastically better than what I showed you earlier. Getting in this worst spot where we're hitting the roller all the time. That's drastically better. And now moving up into the little mirror guide there. Still a little bit of noise here. I'm telling you, that's going to be corrected by modifying probably these. Still drastically better. I mean, drastically better than what it was. Okay. All right, so these should help a lot of people out just doing these simple things. Now I'm going to take a few minutes, going to take a minute to show you how to actually make that little shim that I came up with. So, back in a second. All right, the whole objective of making this little piece is to take up the slack in this arm right here, okay? Now, I went through several different tries at making something basically out of alignment shims, and before I came up with this, because I needed something that's going to stay in place. So what I'm using is a regular 4x4x8 step flashing, galvanized step flashing that you can buy at the home improvement store. I bought this so many years ago, I don't even know where I got it. And this measures, if you measure the thickness, this is right about 12 thousandths of an inch. Okay? We don't want too thick, or else it's gonna jam it up, it won't work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out of this piece, gonna cut out about a 3" by 3" section of that metal. Be very careful. If you don't mess with this before, this stuff will absolutely slice your fingers wide open. And we're gonna cut an opening out of this, just like you see here. The overall dimension is 1 inch tall, and my distance between my opening is 13/16 of an inch. So I'll be cutting out a piece that looks like this, okay? So once you get that cut out, take your piece, make sure and hammer it all back flat, and file down all the burrs on this, because we don't want anything. See, I still got a little small burr right there. We don't want any burrs on this at all. So make sure you clean this all up really well, okay? Now once we have that piece, we're gonna take it and we're gonna position, our shim's gonna go on the side where your spring is, okay? This is the side that you'll be able to see from inside the car. We're gonna take this piece and we're gonna force it down in here, okay? Like I said, watch your fingers, don't cut yourself, okay? So once we get it down in there, it's all the way down, you'll notice on here that this hole and the hole on this piece do not line up. It's an eccentric. So I'm gonna shift this a little bit this way, and then I'm gonna show you what to draw out. I'll come about midway here, come out about a 1/2 inch, come straight down, come out this way about a 1/2 inch. None of this has to be perfect. This is not a beauty contest. We're gonna extend a little farther out on the front, okay? So that showed you how I bent that tab over, okay? So now, remove this piece, cut all that out, okay? And you come back and we'll finish this off. Okay, so now you got your piece. Notice it's not gonna be symmetrical. It's not gonna be. You're always gonna end up one side bigger than the other because of the cam here. So we'll take that piece, make sure we put it in the same way we marked it. Once again, watch your fingers with this, man. Don't cut your hand. Very easy to do with this stuff. A lot of people should probably be wearing gloves. Mess with this. Okay. And once it's all the way in, first thing I'm gonna do is fold this over. And I'd like to take a screwdriver in here. I get real close to the edge and get it started lifting up nice and tight. And it's gonna take my thumbs and I'm gonna fold it over. Okay. At this point, be careful with this, but nice light taps with the hammer to seat that. You notice there's a hole right there. Okay, so I can also, to make sure this doesn't come out, and guesstimate where that hole is and put me a little dimple in there. So this is not gonna come out. At this point, all I have left to do is fold my two sides over, like so. Same thing, just give her a nice, like to give everything a nice tap, and voila, no more play. And yet it's not binding this unit whatsoever, okay? Hope you can all see me moving that. Helps tremendously, guys. So sorry this video is so long, but I hope all of y'all might decide to make one of these. I think you're gonna find this very beneficial on top of all the other things that I showed you. So thank you guys very much for watching, and if this stuff helps you out, I really appreciate y'all give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribing to my channel. So thanks again.